AI, the hot new trend, the big thing that's going on right now. Here's what we're going to talk about a little bit about today. How AI has changed so fast in the recent years, how AI is in education, why is this bad, why is this good, how the AI bubble is affected by this. Now, first we're going to talk about how AI has changed so fast. It's been 3 years that OpenAI has really hit the boom of AI, and we need to start from there. So when I was in high school, which was not that long ago, I had to, raw write the essays. What most commonly is used for ChatGPT nowadays is, writing essays and so forth. And, back then in high school, I had to actually use my brain to write essays. I had to think, brainstorm, had to take hours of my time to actually use my brain correctly. And now AI can do that really easily. And it hasn't even been that long. Like, I've already seen changes in at least in the academic world and the business world. And that's for another video we can talk about later. If you want to hear about that, please comment about that. AI used to be, back in high school, very beginning, the LLMs or language learning models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Gemini, but back then it was the most popular was ChatGPT, of course, because OpenAI kind of really started off this AI boom. Even the pictures were like crazy. You could really tell that it was AI. Like everyone that's like my generation or even like my age kind of experienced this, where we were mid in high school, and it just was really weird transition from, oh, AI changed everything, game changer. Like, we started using it. I actually didn't use it because I was a little late on this AI boom type of thing, and I went to a private school, which doesn't really exclude that much. But all I'm saying is that I had a lot of really good teachers, and thankfully they taught really well, and I didn't really need to use AI in that aspect, and it didn't really cross my mind. The educational department was really fast on catching students on to stop letting students use AI. What we've seen is that AI has kind of changed how we think, which is really interesting. And there's a lot more science and psychology into that, and I can always do a lot more research and do a more in-depth video about that. Now, some of my own stories is, when I was in high school, I'm no, that's me, my first story when I was in high school. I think it was junior year. Man, that was a tough year for me. I hated English that year. I had I think a second year teacher, first year teacher, and she did okay in teaching, but she gave us a cajillion assignments. I just hated junior year. It was just not a good year, and that was the first time I was actually tempted to use AI, specifically ChatGPT, since it was English, right? So that's when I first kind of got into it. I thankfully didn't use AI at all, but I had some temptations definitely during finals and during the December finals, as well as end of the year finals. I was really just not having it. But eventually my integrity stayed and I did not use it, which I think is a good thing. I can say it's a bragging right now, which is crazy. Never thought it was a bragging right. But back to the main story. So a few of my classmates used AI. Not a whole lot of them than you might think, but it was English year and it was mostly used during spring because everyone, at least in my class in year 2025, I know you guys and me included, just did not like that English year. It was just not a good year, and we just thoroughly hated that year, which it was valid crash out, but it's okay. We got through the year. We're here now in college. But anyways, I had a couple of students that I knew used it, and most of them got caught and got reprimanded because at that time, the education, right, and definitely our school was really quick at changing the AI and all those rules and so forth. I'm sure that the school has updated the terms. If not, please do so. It has definitely ruined our intelligence, our IQ, our attention span, and so forth. AI has ruined the brainstorming part and most of the actual using our brain parts. We only have to do really well at prompt engineering. If you know what that is just, engineering the prompt correctly, like asking a ChatGPT, can you do this for me? It's just there's levels to it, and if you do really well, you can get more detailed in your response. But that's just prompt engineering. But besides that, everything else like brainstorming, writing an actual essay, or even just producing pictures or anything of that sort, the art of thinking has kind of become lost. Although there is a comeback with my generation that they're beginning to think more, but it's still a slow movement, I would say. But in general, the art of thinking has kind of become lost, and AI has brought that. Secondly, is of course the environment. This is not even just for education. I wrote a paper about this not too long ago about why AI is bad for the environment. And I actually did a lot of research. And according to Washington University, which is one of many colleges and articles, they have actually stated that AI is bad for the environment because the water usage, the energy output, and just the pollution in general. Each time you use AI, it's equivalent to a 32-ounce water bottle of full of water to cool down the AI data center, or even just like that little chip that is used in the huge fat data centers full of AI, just to cool it down, which is such a waste of water. There's already a water shortage in different parts of the world, and so that already becomes a problem. And of course, you can go off like global warming, blah blah blah, all the environment stuff. You can go off in that subtopic, but just in general, this is just one of the many reasons why AI in education is bad, and why AI in general can lead to bad. It actually can be good. This is really controversial, and a lot of people will say, well, why is you saying AI can be good? Well, it can be. Now, there's a lot of reasons it can be good in business, in my opinion, but in education, there are some reasons. One of them being is AI in college. Now, hear me out. I'm in college right now, and some professors really hate AI and some really love it, so it just depends on your professor. But I love using parts of AI in note taking. For example, or Notion has this really cool tool called Notion AI, of course, that it can create notes, summarize notes, help you memorize notes, and so much more. And that has been my lifesaver on lectures. Definitely next semester, since I'm going to have more lectures rather than interactive classes. And so that's really saved me. And so that's one of the reasons why I like AI. It's just efficient. A, of course, that's the reason, is to become more efficient. And there's just some assignments where you just don't really need to use your brain that much. It's just a tedious issue, and AI can help you create that. So for example, like in my language class, I can use AI to help translate for my Chinese. Like, of course, I'm going to be actually practicing my Chinese and actually use my brain for that part. But for example, like translation, or helping me study, like the AI can help speak, and I can help interact when I don't have any Chinese speakers around me. I can use this tool to help study. So that's more efficient, I would say, and it actually helps me. So it actually helps me become more of an academic weapon, right? So that's where the AI can be good. Another reason that this is really controversial here is you can use it for brainstorming. When I brainstormed back in high school days, goodness gracious, it took me hours and I really hated it. It took me forever, and I'm just not really good at this area. This is just a struggle of mine. Of course, I've learned to develop it over the years, but it's just always going to be a struggle of mine, and that's just how it is. Now I won't be exactly copying whatever topics or whatever the response they have given me, but it helps me develop my own thoughts. It's just a quicker way for me to use AI in the right way and in a good integrity way. Now, of course, that can be a slippery slope because you can just steal ideas, and that's just from the internet. And so that can be, of course, really controversial, but I use it in an integrity way, and so you should too. Now, this all matters because the huge trend right now is the AI bubble, and of course, the never-ending trend of the final days are coming. The end is near. There's a lot of professors and a lot of scholarly authors, they say 2027 is going to be the end year and where AI is going to take over. So of course, there's those type of people and there's those type of people that really enjoy AI and where it's going to last forever. So just be careful of what you're watching, even listening and reading. But of course, they do have some type of truth to it. The AI bubble, according to many articles and videos that I've watched, what essentially the AI bubble is, if you don't really know, since it's a trending term right now and you don't really know what it is, basically what it is where a bunch of companies like OpenAI, Google, DeepSeek, Cloud, like according to MIT article in the Evidence of Technology Review, there has been billions of dollars put into many companies. For example, $75 billion in the next year of 2026 into Google Gemini, which is absolutely insane. And that's just what they're starting at. They're probably thinking of putting it in more, and that's just an example of Google. Now there's like ridiculous money for OpenAI. They're gonna up their advance. I know a couple days ago, CEO of OpenAI has put in code red or blue. I don't remember, but it's one of those two colors. But he said that because he needs to win this AI war at all costs and put away any side projects. And he's putting in ridiculous amount of money into these projects. For example, I think he put in for 2026, the estimate was around $100 billion or more, something in that ballpark. And it's just an unbelievable amount of money where you're like, that's not even real. And so that's where we're kind of at in this AI bubble. And what happens is they put companies, investors put so much money into these AI companies where the worrisome, the bubble essentially is where they don't produce as much technological advancement than they promise the investors. And that's where it breaks or pops, the bubble. And so this is just an overview of the AI bubble. But this matters because if the AI bubble actually pops, then what AI has changed in education is it now has to go back to it. And it's going to be a weird transition of a really advancement to back to what it was like 20 years ago. Not even like 10 years ago, a decade ago. But if it doesn't break and it just continues further and it's actually really stable, the investments and the output, then of course education is going to change more. So either way, education is going to change. So right now, education is kind of in a weird stage of keep up with the Joneses, as you say. Now, if you really are interested, you can comment below and I'll talk about and research more about this topic. Now, I'm curious of what you guys think of what will happen in the future. So comment below of what your predictions of the future will be in AI education, maybe the AI bubble, or anything that's related to AI. I'm really curious. But besides that, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video and hit that subscribe button and see you on the next video.